We decided to make a before and after video for you. This sad rifle, Winchester Model 64, probably one of the best lever action models out of Winchester. You can see it's had a hard life. That receiver doesn't really have deep rust, but it has extensive rust. And the barrel as well. I'll turn it around for you. You can see all the way down the barrel. So this is the before part of the video. The bore is not too bad, but you know my comments from the past. The bore can look pretty bad and still the rifle shoots quite well. And this one is like that. So this is what we're dealing with. And I've decided to take this to a company that does nitriding. I thought of bluing, I thought of all these different coatings, and the coatings are good, but my experience is that the coatings eventually fail, and I like the surface finishes that are in the steel. So bluing, which I guess is oxide, and nitriding I don't have much experience with, so we're going to try that. And I even like parkerizing, but we don't want to parkerize a Model 64. And if it weren't so extensive, I would probably just leave it as is. And actually, I've been known to use rifles just like this. I have no problem with that, so long as they shoot well, which it does. So we'll take it in, and you can remember these images. That's what it looks like before. Some people will ask, how do you think this happened? I mean, I've actually gone waterfowling in salt water, and I've seen shotguns that end up looking like this. It could just be stored away in a case that was wet. Anyway, that's just all guessing, but we'll see how it turns out. So it's a great rifle, but it should look better than this, I think. Deserves some kind of renewal. We made it to the mountains with the Model 64. I don't know if you've watched the video on nitriding and Nitrera. I thought it was kind of interesting. So this was a very sad looking Model 64. You'll see what I mean. Or maybe you've seen it already. And this is the result. So it's reassembled. Everything is good. Naturally, I was kind of curious how the action would run and how it sounds, and everything is perfect. The accuracy is unchanged, function is unchanged. You know, people ask me all kinds of questions. So you would have to decide for yourselves. Now, that was a really rusty situation here, but functionally it was fine, and the bore is excellent. So you'd have to decide whether you wanted to have something restored. Most of the time with Winchesters, people say don't touch it, but there's a tipping point. If the gun is just really ghastly looking, it's not going to have that much collector value anyway, unless somebody wants a character kind of gun. So redoing it might make sense for somebody. The wood was in good shape, no cracks, looks okay to me. And I've always liked the 64, and it runs very slick. Now you'll notice that the finish on the steel is not a particularly glossy finish. I don't know whether that could be changed by Nitrera, maybe. But when I have a situation like this, because it's such a beautiful finish, there were some really bad pits in here. And I just took it like au naturel over to Jonathan, in pieces, of course. And anyway, if you want it glossier, there are products, there are things you can do. One of them is this stuff. It's actually for a gun stock, but I've used it on steel, and that can bring out some shine. But truly, I think that this 64 looks pretty good. I think it's a fine rifle. It runs well. I have another 64. And I was comparing the smoothness of the action, and naturally this is oiled, but I oiled the other one too, and I think maybe that nitriding holds a little bit of oil, because the bolt is not nitrided, but the action here is nitrided. And I know with parkerized guns, you know, you oil them up and there's sort of a spongy aspect to parkerizing. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure a veteran gun collector, I should say, told me that. So there's the 64. Oh, people were writing me about the lettering. So here's the lettering. This is going to be hard to film. You can see that the lettering is, I think, excellent. A lot of times when you have guns refinished, even with careful buffing, sort of the edges of the lettering are lost. And a sharp eye can always picture a gun that's reblued. And naturally, this is not a factory finish, but we're looking for how badly damaged the lettering is, and I see no damage at all. It's fine. All the other parts that were nitrided are the same. I took my glasses and, you know, had a real magnified look, and there are some pits, but it would be really hard to find them with the naked eye. So I would declare this as success. I can recommend it. It's a perfect finish. Naturally, it's not the first, but this one I could turn into a video because I had the rusted 64, and then you can see this one afterwards. And that nitriding, I think, you know, the technical characteristics of nitriding are well known, but in the practical world, I think it would be really hard to damage this because it doesn't peel off. You can't smash it on a, you know, by accident on a rail or something, hunting in Africa, and have sort of flaking and peeling. That's what I saw, and of other finishes. But yeah, anyway, always good to see something that to me is new, probably old school to somebody out there. Anyway, that's the 64, and then I thought I'd just show you, oh, somebody was asking what I shot in the mountains. I thought I said, but maybe not. I shoot this subsonic stuff. Oh, and if I have a firearm with a, you know, really bad bore, this one, I have this stuff always on hand. But my collection, I usually don't buy guns with really bad barrels, but sometimes there's, you know, even in those old 303s, the people say they're shot out or something, and I just clean it with this, and I leave it. I, you know, scrub it a few times and then come back to it and a few more times. And I can't believe actually how many times a barrel is declared no good or used up, and it just needs a scrubbing, especially the vintage guns, because the jackets were weird. I should say just different. But so this probably, I don't think it needs to be nitrided. This is a beautiful, well, it's the action, but it's a beautiful 1894 Remington. I always liked it. It has the side lever here, of course, and the removable hinge pin. And I can't remember why I bought this one. I think because it was missing a firing pin. And so I thought, well, I can fix that. So I did. Anyway, this would be, if there was more rust, then it could be nitrided, and it would look sharp. It looks good. It's a good looking, tough finish. And yeah, Remington arms, beautiful action. So yeah, if it was worse, then I would say for sure take it for nitriding, because it's a utilitarian. It's a gun for using, and I wouldn't be looking for top collector value, but I don't know that it would make a difference on a single shot shotgun most of the time, unless it's a Ithaca trap gun. Anyhow, I hope you find that interesting. I think we covered everything I wanted to cover, and if I do another project like this, then I'll be sure to film it again. It's easy to forget because you're just sort of preoccupied with making the gun good again. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time. Take care until then.